Let's move on with some business news for you now. I'm joined by Brian Quinn here in the studio. Hi there, Brian.
Hi, Catherine.
You're taking us to other sunny climes. We're talking about Qatar, that very serious, long-running now blockade by several of its neighbouring countries. It's leading the government now to pursue some rather major compensation claims against its neighbours.
Yeah, Qatar has been under effective blockade since early June, when Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Egypt cut diplomatic ties and closed off their airspace and land crossings to the tiny Gulf state. During the crisis, Qatari businesses like Qatar Airways have suffered major losses. The Qatari government has now set up a special committee to pursue compensation claims against those neighbors. The four countries are already themselves demanding payments from Qatar over alleged past interference in their domestic affairs. That's part of a list of demands that they're putting in place to lift the blockade. Qatar's Attorney General says they'll be seeking payments for damages both at home and abroad.
The committee will receive all claims, sort them, and then begin to seek compensation in accordance with the law, whether in district courts or other parts of the world.
All right, a long-running saga, it seems. Moving on, the G20 wrapped up at the weekend in Hamburg. The participants managed to reach an agreement on international trade, but it seems there's one particular sector that could still be a problem.
That's right. The threat of a trade war was in the air over the weekend as world leaders sought to prevent the U.S. from imposing punitive tariffs on steel imports. Now, a plan to address the problem of cheap steel flooding the market was eventually reached, but the language of the final declaration still leaves the tariff option open to the U.S. Rebecca Rosman reports.
An agreement on steel concessions, or else. Bowing to pressure from U.S. President Donald Trump, G20 leaders set deadlines for addressing excess steel production. By November, a substantial report will be presented, which makes concrete political solutions for steel overcapacities. Low-cost imports from countries like China have severely weakened the U.S. steel market, an industry Trump promised to revive during his 2016 presidential campaign. While other G20 leaders were hesitant to give in to what they deemed as the Trump administration's protectionist policies, an agreement was struck early on Saturday to address overcapacity and artificially low prices, in hopes of avoiding a global trade war. But Trump still may take matters into his own hands by imposing tariffs on steel imports under national security grounds via Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act, even though only a fraction of U.S. steel is used for defense purposes. The U.S. trade deficit with other G20 members reached $738 billion in 2016, including $327 billion with China. In exchange for the steel deal, all G20 members agreed to fight protectionism, something many members continue to be wary about, given the Trump administration's increasing protectionist stance.
Oh, finally, you've got a look at the markets for us.
That's right. Markets in Europe opening higher Monday morning after a good jobs report in the U.S. boosted markets in Friday trading. The G20's eventual accord reassuring to investors. London's FTSE 100 up 0.5. The CAC 40 here in Paris 0.4, and the Frankfurt DAX up around 0.6. Most Asian indexes seeing gains in Monday trading. China's most recent inflation figures meeting expectations, but markets for Greater China mixed, with the Hang Seng up just under 0.8, but the Shanghai Composite on the mainland off by 0.25%.
All right, now we really do have your final story. I was trying to rush ahead to this one because it's of particular interest. It's about holidays, although perhaps not a very nice side of holidays. Getting ill on holiday can be quite a nasty experience. Some people, though, apparently faking it to try and make a fast buck.
Sad, but true. It's a trend that's turned into a major problem for organized tourism operators across southern Europe. UK travelers on package holidays filing bogus insurance claims over made-up cases of food poisoning. Hotels and tour operators have long paid out claims, wary of costlier court battles, but an overwhelming number of cases filed by UK travelers have led some hotels and tours to go so far as to hire private detectives to debunk phony illness claims. The travel industry estimates that holiday sickness claims by UK residents increased by 500% since 2013. Now, the Ministry of Justice says that legal costs for tour operators will be limited and that fraudulent claimers could face up to 3 years in jail.
And that does not sound like a holiday.
Not much of a holiday.
No. All right. Thanks very much, Brian Quinn. A warning to anyone who was hoping to make a fast buck there on your holiday insurance. It's not worth it.